Good day, mates. I've left Asia and arrived in Australia where it's winter time. And you've all voted, so I'll be taking Route B, starting here in Sydney and then heading to Melbourne and Tasmania. So let's jump in my Honda Jazz with my i-VTEC engine and let's go drive every drop. I'm now heading out of Sydney to the suburb of Gordon to meet an agricultural scientist who's built a sustainable home. John?
Hello, Alan.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome to Moonview.
This is Moonview, huh? I've heard so much about it. And I hear you have a lot to tell me about it, too.
Indeed. You can see the photovoltaic panels that make my electricity. I make more energy than I use. What I don't use, I put back into the grid. You can see my water tanks. There are 6 of them here. There's one up on the roof. So if something goes wrong with the pump, I can gravity feed. This is my composting toilet. So if there were 4 people in the house, I'd open the chamber at the end of a year and I'd remove about a cubic foot of black compost. That's all that would be left. I wanted people as they came through the front door to see first up the sun setting in the west over the green earth of plants.
Okay.
And that's to remind them of an important ecological truth, namely that the food and oxygen that sustains them and all the other animals is actually made by plants using the energy of the sun. This, of course, is the dining room. The sun carpet here, of course, shows the sun coming up over the blue world, the world of water and air. And that tells us, of course, the second need of living things is fresh water. Now, one of the problems I had to face with these south-facing verandas was, would they be very dark and unpleasant?
How did you solve that problem?
By putting in these skylights, which have in them a thing called a laser lens. Those little lines are slots cut in the internal membrane, and they're angled to match the zenith angle of the summer sun. It allows the heat part of the winter light in, but it shuts out the heat part of the summer light. Well, here, Alan, you can see that the roof is covered with 800 millimetres of soil. The point of the soil roof, of course, is its wonderful thermal insulation.
What was your reason in you know, designing this house and doing this in the first place?
Well, essentially, as I say, all human activity ought to be underpinned by ecological principles if it was to be sustainable. I've always found teaching works if you can show people things. So being able to experience the house, I think, is more meaningful than just reading about it in a book. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have said hello.
Oh, my pleasure. Pleasure's all mine. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
I was really impressed with John's moon view and the amount of detail he put into it. But I'm equally impressed with the fact that people aren't building houses these days just to live in, but also as models for the future, such as this house and also the tree house we saw in India.